Hello, Drew.
Hi, Taylor.
Welcome back to my apartment.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Did you
It's
miss
nice
it?
and clean. I did.
The whole time? You missed it the whole time?
Well,
you were gone?
I got busy with some things, and then I'm like, oh shit, I really miss Taylor's
You
apartment.
really, once you could sit down and take a breath,
Mm-hmm.
you really missed it.
I really did. So I'm
Yeah.
glad to be back.
Mhm.
Hi, I'm Drew, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hello, I'm Taylor. I'm an alcoholic.
This is the Sober Boys podcast episode
19.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually.
We should just keep
18?
it in the teens and never get to 20.
It's, I forget which one it is. It's 18 or 19.
It's one of those.
You'll know more than we will.
Yeah, we'll write it down. We'll figure it
This
out.
is live and in person. In studio. In studio Casa de Taylor de House.
I guess I'll go real quick saying the Sober Boys podcast in no way represents the views or opinions expressed by the Central Office of Alcoholics Anonymous or any other 12-step program. This is merely a fun little podcast.
Yeah.
We gibber and we jabber.
Yeah.
And
We
our
do.
opinions are our own.
We do the whole time.
Yeah. But we still want this to be helpful, and we hope that it is. Bada boom, bada bing.
Good work.
Yeah.
Excellent way to
got
let
it.
them know that we can't get in trouble for anything we say.
All right.
We can say whatever we want. We can't go to jail. We're invincible.
Anyways, about our terrorist work.
Careful. People are arresting people for that.
Terrorizing people with kindness.
Yeah, we're like fun terrorists.
Yeah.
What?
Get in that plane, and then we
Balloons
give
for
everybody
everyone.
cake.
We give everybody cake. We make them eat the cake.
Everyone be quiet and grab a fork.
Everyone get on the ground. Well, get in your chairs because you can't, like the way
You can't eat cake on the ground.
'cause-
Shut up. Here's cake.
gravity kind of assists in like the digestion process because it goes down to your stomach. So if you're laying on the ground, like you ever eat chips in bed and they kind of just get stuck in your
The
throat?
bomb of the plane. A prize bomb for each and every one of you. Look under your seats.
It's a glitter bomb. So, anyways,
Well, that's fun.
Drew, what did you do to stay sober today so far? It's
I-
only 1:25
Yeah, I
p.m.
prayed and I maybe talked to you.
It's early.
I will say. On a more serious note, I will say, because I think it's important to say, I'm struggling a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit on the struggle bus. Got thrown out of my meetings routine through
Yeah.
a big long move and other things
Yeah.
that I don't really want to talk about here. But I think it's important to highlight when I do struggle. That's when like the power of like the disease that can't be seen comes
Yeah.
in, and
Yeah.
my disease is telling me, you're busy with other stuff. Stay home. Don't
Yeah.
get back in your meeting
Yeah.
schedule. Don't talk to people. People would call and I would, let it go, and then I'd call back sometime. Like it's just it's part of this. And
the for me at least, the thought of drinking isn't the first thing that comes when I'm feeling like
No.
that. It's usually like, oh, I've got so much to do. I'm not feeling good in my own skin.
yeah,
And then the thought of a drink is like the last ambush. It's like, oh fuck, and then it's too late.
that's where it gets. That's like the feeling that I have of being. I kind of throw myself out on an island.
Yeah.
And there's no real good reason why I do that. It's just what happens, and that's my sponsor always says, well, that's just your disease talking, and a lot of meetings where like feelings aren't facts, but I say we still feel those things.
Yeah.
And they still
They feel like facts.
They feel like
Feelings aren't
facts.
facts, but they
And
feel
they still dictate
the most
actions.
The most true.
So I'll be okay. It's just good to highlight, especially like when people have like a number of years and they talk
Drew,
about
Drew has 2.
yeah,
Drew now has 2.
that's a number. There we go.
That's true. It's a number.
That's a number. But I mean, I'm talking about people with like 5+ years, and sometimes they would go back out,
Yeah.
and young AA Drew was like, how is that possible?
Yeah.
It's like, well, you get into your own
If-
life, and
if-
it takes you away from whatever routine got you into successful
Yeah.
sobriety.
So today, to cure Drew, we're going to speed read all of the big book. We're going to speed read all the way through. He's doing it. Oh, God, it's so quick. Drew, he's almost done. Hey, ladies.
Oh, crap. I sped right backwards. No! Now I'm back to step 1. Shit. No.
Wow.
Now I got to start all over. No. I'll be all right. And I'm at a meeting now with you,
Yeah.
and I plan on going to a meeting tonight
Oh, good.
to break the streak
Break
of
the seal.
break that seal of being
Meeting
isolated.
seal.
But I just wanted to, it's not,
Yeah.
all sunshine and rainbows
No.
once you
There's no promise in the promises that says sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah. The promises are like, if you do this shit.
Yeah. I was listening to Whitney Cummings' podcast today, of all people.
Oh.
And she had, she was saying like alcoholics, because she's flirted with being sober and stuff. She's definitely not one of us. She's not allowed in the club.
No.
But
no girls allowed.
No
just
girls
kidding.
allowed.
Just kidding. No, anybody's allowed. We'll talk about that in our part 2 of
It
frequently
was
asked
founded by
questions.
men, and it's for boys.
Only for boys.
It's not for boys. Girls are allowed and encouraged. Please come, ladies. But she was saying, like, as alcoholics, maybe she was told this or she came up with it, but like we kind of want to have we want everything to be fun all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's not fun.
Oh yeah, when like actual life things pop up, you're like go back into, I say, somewhat of a child brain of being like heading really fast towards that comfort.
Yeah.
But the only growth is when you're when you're discomforted.
Yeah. Well, Drew, I'll tell you, you saw me when I relapsed.
Yeah.
Did it look fun?
I heard you. It did not look fun.
Did I look like I was having a good time?
You don't have to threaten me with a good time.
Because I'm not.
Yeah, no. That's
Threatening you with a bad time.
Yeah. But we're going to continue. Well, I'll first ask, what did you do to stay sober? Today. Or, yeah.
I had nothing.
Yeah, there you go.
This.
It's early.
Because I normally get up and pray, but I had to take my truck into the dealership. And I was supposed to get up at 7:30 because my appointment was at 8:30. Woke up, it was 8 o'clock, and I was late. So I was like, I gotta go because I want my truck to be ready today. It might not be ready today, but it'll be ready tomorrow, I think. And then,
good.
And then
Good things
Amazon
come to
said my
those who
package
wait.
was delivered.
Come
and
on,
it was
Amazon.
not, and I'm mad. It was $200. I'm so upset.
Ugh.
I'm not gonna wait like 48 hours until this is resolved.
Bezos!
You know what my fear is?
What?
They say it's gonna be resolved. You know what my fear is?
They're like, we did it, and they'll never get back to you.
Yeah, my fear is that they're just keep my money.
Or
It's
like
not gonna
a
happen.
big old acorn comes from high in the sky and plucks you at the head. That's a fear.
Wait, a giant acorn?
Yeah, larger than normal. Like, doesn't kill you, but it gives a big old welt.
So Ice Age style, the movie Ice Age, where the squirrel is just on the hunt for acorns the whole time.
Oh yeah, what a selfish little squirrel.
See, man, Ice Age, what a violent, scary movie. Not for kids originally, I heard.
Yeah, it was gonna be a Scorsese film.
Yeah.
But he
Scorsese
backed out at the last minute, and then they decided to animate the entire thing.
Scorsese Tarantino mashup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that first. Yeah, they were together, and then the contract fell
Yeah.
through, and Ray Romano was just like, "Oh, I'll still do it."
And Chris Farley was supposed to voice all the characters.
Yeah.
Kind of like a Shrek scenario.
Yeah, he needed to find himself a meeting.
He did at the end there. He was sober for like 3 years. I've seen like all the Chris Farley documentaries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He is such a enigma of a guy.
Yeah, he's one of the most naturally funny people of all time.
Yeah.
And he never could convince himself that was enough.
No, yeah.
Like,
You think he was
needed.
like people pleasing or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I use this phrase people pleasing so much now that it's kind of lost what it means to me.
Well, it's a big old umbrella of other
Yeah.
emotions too.
And there's
Needing to be a part of and needing to be accepted, all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah, that is a good point. I think I need new words for me for it.
People pleasing,
World
person tickling.
world accomplishing. But show me all the people you've pleased. That's what everyone says to me.
Yeah, it's weird that they say
And
that.
I'm like, I can't. It's too many. I've done a good job of pleasing so many people, so I couldn't bring. You want me to call every person I've ever pleased and bring them to here right now? What a stupid request.
Next podcast.
Next podcast, we get everyone I've ever pleased as a guest.
Yeah, that's definitely like a balance act of like. There's always there's a notion of like going out and trying to be of service as much as possible. That's really a main goal that you find in meetings and everything. But being a member of AA also doesn't mean that you're like a fucking pushover or anything like that. So finding that balance is also good.
You're still allowed to punch if someone bullies you.
Yeah.
But
like,
they
like
punch
old
you.
fighting Irish.
Like this girl.
Yeah. Yeah. That bird flying towards
I
everyone.
was supposed to fight. And then this is my mom's name. Or I love the Grinch. It says Cindy Lou.
Who?
Cindy Lou, my mom.
Who?
Yeah, Cindy Lou. And I love to tell people I'm a fan of the Grinch. Because people at first...
You should just be like the live action. The cartoon's bullshit. Jim Carrey for life.
Yeah. Well, I always say my favorite... As a kid, I did... So maybe there's a double meaning. Because as a kid, my dad said they would put in the VHS and I would be mouthing the words. Like I loved The Grinch
Nice.
so much.
Do you like that the movie or just the character?
the movie? The movie with Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
I love when he's chewing glass and he's yelling at himself. It's like, I'm an idiot. You're an idiot. The
Yeah.
echo in the cave.
Really, the first start of why are these, exploration to why are they really bad people or are they just hurt people?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. His heart grew 3
Another
sizes.
example of being uncomfortable and running away and being in isolation. I'm the Grinch right now.
The Grinch really is an allegory for alcoholism.
Yeah, it can be. You can use it as an allegory for consumerism, alcoholism, social pariahs.
Yeah. Did allegory? The original allegory was an allegory of the cave. Is that where that comes from?
I don't know.
Okay.
We'll look it up later, but
All right.
we have more
We
important
have very
things
important
to-
business to get to.
Yeah, let's take a sip of our liquid death.
Not sponsored,
No.
but it is tasty.
Yeah, and it looks like you're drinking a beer, and that's part of their marketing, I guess.
Oh yeah, it's just water.
It's just water, but it looks badass.
Murder your thirst.
Do you want to be badass while
Yeah.
drinking sparkling water?
Listen, are you telling me if you can make millions of dollars
No, it's a
from a
brilliant.
successful marketing campaign?
It's just marketing.
Yeah,
It's just water in there.
yeah. It's just it's from straight from the Alps, but
I'm sure like the box water people are like, ah, man, we should have put skulls on it. Why do
guys, why were you thinking?
Chris, you thought like just put it in a box would sell?
our water looks like milk.
Ugh,
And
no
theirs
one
looks like
wants
a
milk.
Beer.
People are putting missing persons on our box water.
No. If
Should've
anything,
put a
it's
fucking
less
skull on
popular.
it.
No one wants to it's like an amber alert. Everyone just ignores it.
Why did I buy this company? We're never gonna read the book again. No, just kidding. I think we had a lot of fun reading the frequently asked questions from the PDF pamphlet
Yeah.
of AA. You can find this pamphlet in any meeting that has
Anywhere you get pamphlets.
anywhere you get pamphlets. Most meetings have these pamphlets.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to
the
say.
pamphlet store.
Pamphlets are us.
Yeah. That would what? Okay, yeah. What if there's a world where like maybe it's this one where everything does have a store, like everything is but what's
An
what,
Apple store,
what
a banana
factory?
store.
What warehouse are all these pamphlets in?
Because
Because they have to start somewhere. Then people
some
in
paper
factories.
factory.
Okay, do you think on the pamphlet it said this pamphlet prepared in a facility that handles peanuts to make sure people that have a peanut allergy?
They should say that if there's peanuts in the back.
They should.
I'm sure these are all things that we should be able to find out. We got to look up the next pamphlet convention.
Yes.
There's got to be one.
Yeah. So I've got us off track again, but
It's okay.
we are on the FAQs. Frequently asked questions. for
Frequently
those-
asked questions. So the Office of Alcoholics Anonymous has answers, but we're going to use our own answers.
Yeah.
And we might read some of their answers too to see if it, coincides. But I'm kind of going around here. There's some interesting questions. The next question of frequently asked questions is, what does membership in AA cost?
Yeah.
Why are you? It's free, baby.
It's free. Yeah, it's a desire to stop drinking.
Yeah, that's all it costs.
That's the
is-
requirement.
That's the only requirement. Like we've talked about before, last podcast was a desire to stop drinking. There is, however, a tradition in which we're like accept donations to keep meetings going
Yeah.
and to keep certain things at the
Yeah.
meetings going, like coffee and snacks.
And
and
even
whatever.
then, if you go to a meeting every single day and you give $1, that's only $365 a year.
And you're not forced to give money at all, ever. I feel like when I was a newcomer and I saw they were passing out like a basket to ask for money, I was like, what's this?
Yeah.
Reminded me of church a little bit. And so that was a little.
We got to pay rent.
Yeah.
We got to buy coffee.
Yeah.
Coffee's not free.
Yeah.
Rent's not free.
So that's like the benign anarchy concept of it.
Oh, yeah.
Just like the literal
Yeah.
definition of like everybody kind of
Yeah.
chipping in where there's no actual governing
Yeah.
force in the individual meetings.
I just was thinking, because there's a meeting called Benign Anarchy.
Oh yeah.
But then
yeah.
I was thinking.
Shout out to that.
I was
Good
thinking
job.
there was a meeting.
I like that name. That's why I use that
Yeah.
word.
I was
It's a good-
thinking there was. Then I was like, oh, Complete Abandon. I thought it was a bad group for a second, but it's just a meeting.
No, it's just a meeting with a cool name.
It is a wild meeting.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been.
Yeah.
It was,
Shout out to Benign
it
Anarchy.
was wild.
If you're looking for a meeting more south in Atlanta, it's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah,
prostitutes are walking around outside. It's a good one. That is my experience. That's what I saw. There's hookers walking around outside that meeting.
Sometimes.
There are. But
I've not been enough to be like all the time.
meeting makers
sometimes.
make it, is what people say sometimes.
They do. I need to hear that.
Did we A plus that question?
We'll B plus it because we talked about hookers.
Dang it.
That's just what the key says.
Yeah.
That's just what the key says. I'm just going by that.
You.
By the practice test. But I like back to the anarchical idea of AA. Next question is, who runs AA?
Who knows?
Who the fuck knows?
How does it work? I don't know.
Well, this is, I make this announcement every time for our PSA or whatever before the meeting. There is a central office of Alcoholics Anonymous in New York, and there's other city central offices. There's one in Atlanta, downtown, and so those, and there's general service meetings, and I don't know the exact I've never been a general service rep. You haven't either?
No.
Maybe we'll get a general service rep on before, but there are
We need GSR for this meeting.
there are structural devices within AA.
Yeah.
But in the individual meeting, there's no president.
Yeah. But there is
There's a secretary.
whatever how it works or whatever it says trusted servants, they do not govern.
Yes.
Are whoever are trusted servants, they do not govern. Who do they say?
Yeah.
Our workers are but trusted servants.
Yeah.
They do not govern.
Got it. Third time.
Did we get an A plus this time? What's the key say?
Well, I think it's just important because, like, if you're like once again a newcomer coming in, it can be confusing because there's a chairperson that leads a meeting, and you're like, are they in charge? And then there's usually if the chairperson's not discussion leader, there's a discussion leader, and they're like, are they the ones in charge? And then there's announcements before and after the meeting, and they're like, well, are they in charge of that? So there's different positions, but they're not held
Right.
completely by one person for the entire time.
And they switch.
Yeah.
They switch. No one's in charge forever. But sometimes people like being in charge for a long time.
I know. I was a coffee chair of our
You
meeting for
were,
a long
but I think
time.
you were done with that.
It was hard for me to give up.
Was it really?
Yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, you were good at it.
Yeah, I took it very seriously because it coincided with what I actually do for
You
work.
were good at it, and then one time recently, the guy who's been doing it, coffee was gone. And I was like, this would never happen with Drew. Coffee would never be gone. We had coffee, but it was like halfway through the meeting, I wanted some. There wasn't any. And I was confused.
Yeah.
Because we had it so good for so long.
Yeah, change is always kind of hard, but change is never easy.
Yeah.
But that's the
piece of wood fell off the chair.
Oh man,
Sorry,
am I
guys.
gonna break another chair?
Drew got a new chair. It is a dumpster chair.
It's,
How is the chair doing so far?
you
Is
know,
it right?
initially it's fine. There's a little hole right here,
Okay.
but it's standing up. We'll see how long it lasts.
Okay. Is your back okay sitting like
I'm
that?
not even like.
I know, but
you want to be able to hear me if my back was on the chair.
I know, but do you feel like it's too tall? Like if you have to be like that for the whole hour we record, is it going to be a problem?
We'll see how I feel at the end
Okay.
of the hour.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the chair at the end of the hour.
I might, in the end, buy a swivel. Maybe we'll buy a swivel chair.
I want to get one for this because this barbershop chair, honestly, is on my wits.
On your
I don't know.
end of your wits.
Yeah, he's on the end of my wits.
Aw.
I can't get him off. He's gonna jump.
You gotta stay on the wits.
Don't jump, Drew. No, don't.
Get back on the wits. So yeah, who runs AA? There's no president, so no one in particular, but there are people that have jobs at the central office to keep things
He
rolling.
who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Bill Wilson, he's still alive. His head's in a jar.
I mean, that was the whole point of Bill Wilson. He never wanted to be seen as higher than the run-of-the-mill
I
alcoholic.
thought I had to say he never wanted to die. So
Never wanted to
be
die.
in charge of AA forever.
Yeah. He's like, I stopped drinking. Now I don't have to die, right? That's the rules. The only thing that's going to kill me is alcohol.
We were talking about, we went to, after Boys to Men the other night, we went to La Fonda, and this one guy was talking about, he's a guy, he's a crackhead, and I was like, man after my own heart.
Oh.
And, but I thought it was funny, the idea of I think in the book it says like alcohol kind of pickles people.
Yeah.
Or like once a pickle, always a pickle.
Yeah. You can't unbake a cake.
Yeah.
Toothpaste can't get back in that tube. A flattened squirrel ain't gonna puff up again.
Surgery can't undo surgery. Major surgery.
Yeah. That ACL ain't gonna get mended. Okay, continue.
But then I was like, so alcohol pickles you in a way, and then I was saying crack kind of pickles people in a different way.
Yeah.
In a very specific different way.
Yeah.
It kind of, I don't know. It seems like crackheads. I don't know. Fentanyl and crack now seems to be killing. Be Real or someone was on a podcast. Lil Boosie or someone was on a podcast saying he was encouraging people to stick to crack and not fentanyl because fentanyl's killing people.
Yeah.
It's like killing junkies that have been junkies forever.
Gun to my head, if I had to choose, I guess I'd have to choose crack.
Big gun to your head.
Yeah.
Bazooka straight to your head.
Yeah. But, I guess they're both pretty dangerous. I don't suggest either one.
No, we are not doing that.
But that's what the guy said at dinner. He was like, gotta go with crack, guys.
No, it was just some rapper he was talking about it.
Oh, okay.
The guy at dinner was just talking about how he was homeless and a crackhead. Now he works in a kitchen.
That's good.
Yes.
That's awesome.
He's been sober for a while.
Hell yeah.
So anyways, wow. Next question?
Next question. Do you want to read what they
asked.
said? It's such a long answer.
For which
it's
one?
Insane. Who runs AA?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just skip down. At the national, international levels, there are also specific jobs to be done. Literature has to be written, printed, and distributed to groups and individuals who ask for it. Inquiries of both new and established groups have to be answered. Individual requests for information about AA and its program of recovery from alcoholism has to be filled. Assistant. All right, this is all the stuff they had to do. Blah, 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 blah. To provide for sound growth of AA, early member society, together with non-alcoholic friends, established a custodial board. So that's what we're talking about. General Service Board of Alcoholics Anonymous. The board serves as a custodian of AA traditions and overall service, and it assumes responsibility for the service standards of AA's General Service Office at New York. So nailed it. I give us an A+.
We got an A+.
Is AA a religious society?
No. The
No,
answer to
it's
that one is
not.
no, it's not.
That's can be a hot button issue for those. Not hot button. I don't know. It's definitely feels like I
Hot
said.
stove button.
Hot stove button. When you put that hand on the stove, it'd be hot. It feels like I said. Sometimes it depends on the meetings, but if I'm first coming in, it felt with seeing the baskets being passed
Yeah.
around, money in there, people praying, talking about God. It felt like fucking church
Yeah.
sometimes. And it takes a while and more meetings to go to realize that it's not a religious program, it's a spiritual program.
Yeah.
And finding that difference is the
Yeah.
most important thing.
You can be Christian, you can be Jewish, you can be Buddhist,
You could be a Satanist.
you could be a Nazi and still come.
Yeah.
People will be mad at you probably, but they're not allowed to be mad in the meeting.
I remember I DL'd a meeting one time and I talked about this video I saw between a Satanist convention
Yeah.
and the Christians that were protesting it.
Yeah.
And the interviews with the Satanists they were a lot more thoughtful and
Yeah.
open and welcoming
Yeah.
than the Christians. And my point was kind of like that,
Yeah.
is that the point of their own like spirituality and helping out the common man was like the whole point of the Satanist convention that I saw
Yeah.
in this like small documentary was to be as open and accepting as possible.
Yeah, Satanism really is because Satan, but it's really not. I did a report on Levian Satanism in middle school
Oh,
or high
that's-
school.
Hopefully high school. Middle school seems
High
like
school,
young
high
for
school. It was social, social.
that. Social studies.
No, what's the one that is not psychiatry, not sociology?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Sociology. I did a report on Levian Satanism, and actually, it's not like a scary cult.
No.
It's like some of their core values are like, oh, that's like kind of nice.
Yeah, I remember though at that meeting afterwards, the dude like almost walked out and was like really angry that I brought it because he was like a devout Catholic and stuff.
Okay, yeah,
I'm like, like I barely talked to.
yeah.
Like that was not the point.
Yeah.
But
You're proving the point.
I get it. It's
Yeah.
okay. All right. I won't do it again.
Yeah.
All that stuff. I'd say, like I said, I've said this before. I think Satan gets a bad rap, man.
Yeah.
The snake in the garden just wanted everybody to be full.
He was thinking of others.
Yeah.
He's doing service work
He was
in
like,
the garden.
They're naked. You're not gonna tell them?
He was like, sure, it'll seem bad at the beginning when you put on clothes, but you're gonna be cold at some point.
Yeah, this is dangerous.
You're gonna get cut up by like sharp grass. Adam, Eve. look
God,
at
you
me.
don't want them to know that, like, what the hell?
Yeah, Adam, Eve, look at your
Equality.
Adam, look
Equal
at
opportunity.
look at your penis. It's all scratched up.
Yeah.
Don't you want that thing to be nice and supple?
Anyways, that whole wait, what?
Nice and supple.
Wait, what was all scratched up? I moved
penis.
on. Yeah. Your penis keeps flying through the wickets of the Garden of Eden. This is Satan, by the way. That's gross.
Adam, you have a beautiful, beautiful penis, but it's all scratched up.
Yeah. God's like, I'm going to cut off that foreskin. He's like, why? Why? What's the point? I don't know. I don't like how it
I
looks.
made a mistake when I put that there. I gotta go back and fix this.
I've now offended all Christianity and Judaism in one podcast. So
We don't mean any of that. All that.
I do.
All that to say. So.
I think my main point is your higher power can be absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before. Can be a freaking doorknob.
It can be new pair of shoes.
Yeah. I know when people get annoyed when they're like, don't say a doorknob. I'm like, well, it's getting you outside of yourself, so you can say anything.
Yeah.
As long
That's
as
the point.
As long as you're trusting in something outside of yourself.
Yeah.
You're,
Absolutely.
You're praying to something outside of yourself. You're asking for help that isn't your own brain. Get it outside of your crazy mind.
You know what your own brain did? It got you in trouble. It made you smoke crack. I'm talking about me, but it made you do things you wouldn't do under the...
Your brain made you drink all the whoopsie daisy no juice.
It made me smoke all the oopsie doopsie
crunchy smokies. Oopsie doopsie crunchy smokies. I mean, if you market it like that, and get Liquid Death on it.
Yeah, only you. Yeah, only if. Hey, Liquid Death, put out like a joke campaign for drugs. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Like crack, cocaine, heroin.
So yeah, I think it's not a religious society; it's a spiritual society.
No, A+.
And we're all open to find. We're here to help find your higher power and have that grow.
Yes.
A++. Especially the plus is because we mentioned Satan. That was pretty cool. That was pretty.
Satan could be your higher power.
That was pretty rock and roll.
Yeah. Pretty punk rock of us.
Pretty.
We're the punk rock podcast.
Is a temperance movement? This is like an old school question.
This is because I don't even know what a temperance movement is. Is that just like
angry ladies being like, "Stop drinking! It's the 20s."
That's what the temperance movement was.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah, it was making alcohol legal.
And then they brought it
Prohibition.
back. Yeah.
And speakeasies came about, and that sounded pretty cool.
And now speakeasies, you go in and
now they're lame and pretentious.
Yeah, they're easy to find.
What's the password?
We put in this giant bookcase.
Speakeasies are a hipster special.
So
no, it's not. It's a movement or a program, spiritual movement,
program of action
to help people with their alcohol addiction. Mm-hmm. That's all that is. Mm-hmm. I'll ask you a question. I feel like I've been answering these first. I'll ask you can answer the next one. Well, are there many women in alcoholics?
There's so many. There's women meetings.
Women alcoholics in AA. Yeah. There didn't used to be when it first started.
At the beginning.
Because they're like, women alcoholics?
No way.
Pish posh.
Who's going to take care of the dudes that are alcoholics?
Yeah.
If everyone's an alcoholic.
They're too busy with the babies.
This is what guys.
I'm a 1920s person. This is not. I'm being a character.
Drew, today, dudes can't be alcoholics. It's only ladies.
Yeah, it's switched.
We had it wrong the whole time.
That was an easy answer. Yeah. Anybody can be an alcoholic, and there's sometimes talking to some of my female AA friends, big old meetings can sometimes there's some creepy kind of shit that sometimes happens in big meetings. I think that's why there's such an important role for women's only
Yeah.
meetings.
Mhm.
I'm not saying men should only go to men's meetings
Yeah.
and men and women should only go to women's meetings.
Yeah.
But that's it, that they're important for that
Yeah.
reason. And there's some clubhouses that will remain nameless because it happens in a lot, like
Big
I don't know,
meetings.
big meetings, small meetings.
People who are like predatory type people, they'll find a place where they can find people that are vulnerable.
Yeah, that's I think that's a big problem.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no perfect answer for
Mhm.
it.
And usually you can kind of pick those people out. You can see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
Or they give me a bad gut feeling.
Yeah.
Some people just give me a bad gut feeling.
And there's numbers to call now. You can find on the AA website.
Yeah.
And there's, especially in these big clubhouses, they make announcements that, if you see something, say something. We want to be as safe and welcoming of an environment as possible.
Yeah.
And so there's some solutions that they're trying to do, but it's not perfect.
And then we call the AA police, and then that creepy guy's up against some bushes and
Yeah.
pulls them into the bushes.
Yeah.
And then they're kicked out.
Yeah. AA police is crazy. It would be, especially because they're fake.
Yeah, they can do anything we want.
Anything
They kind of like hide in the corner. They kind of like stick to the corner.
Mm-hmm.
They swing in like a SWAT team, break the windows.
Yeah, they're like vampires.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be on the floor. You'll open their eyes, and all you'll see is their eyes because they're camouflaged to the floor.
So yeah,
It's the Navy SEALs.
I was gonna say something more about it. It's like that shit's like a tricky thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like there is like a small predatory side sometimes. If like,
Don't be that guy.
don't be that guy, please.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
do it.
You know what? And if you see it, then I don't know.
Go be creepy at the police station.
Are there many young people in AA?
So many. There's Yippee Paw or whatever. Yicky Paw?
You keep
Icky Paw. Yucky.
What's that?
Icky Paw? It's like the young people. The young people.
Is that like an AA alliance of young people?
It's the
The Justice League of
It's
AA. Well, yeah. There's young people. There's young person meetings.
Yippee Paw. Yippee Paw. That's not it. Not Yippee Paws. Icky Paw. Icky.
Well,
Paw.
as Taylor's looking this up, I will say yes. There's plenty of young people in the meetings. A lot of law, like the legal system, can force teens and young people in their early 20s
judges
into meetings and
judges
stuff.
will tell you you're an alcoholic.
Yeah, that's a lot of times you'll see young people be forced into a meeting through the legal system. Not all the time, but sometimes I was an alcoholic from the jump. I 100% was an alcoholic when I was in my teenage years. In my first meeting, I was a young person. I was 20 years old. And I went to a young person's meeting because that sounded like it fit.
Yeah.
And my young person's meeting was a lot like high school.
Yeah.
It was very cliquey.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
It's hard to not be cliquey as a
It's still
young guy.
still developing brains and everything like that. So, but quickly I found a meeting that worked for me.
Do you want to know what Icky Paw is?
What is it now?
It's the, the 63rd Icky Paw Conference 2023. Register today for 63rd Icky Paw, which will be held at the San Francisco Marriott Marquis, September 1st.
What does that sound?
to
What does
4th.
it stand for?
It stands for FAQ. Oh, let's do another FAQ.
No. It's an FAQ inception. We took one FAQ if there's young people in AA, and Taylor is looking up another
So
FAQ.
let's see if you can answer this without knowing anything about it. Is Icky Paw AA?
Yes. I said no and yes at the same time.
Yes, Icky Paw is part of AA, as are young people in AA. Committees at the state and regional levels, as long as the events they organize are run by AA members for AA members, and there is no other affiliation. Icky Paw is listed in our confidential AA directories.
What's the
directories
acronym
under
stand for?
Special international contracts.
How many letters are there?
Icky Paw. ICYPAA. International Conference of Young People in AA.
All right.
I believe that's what it means. International
go.
Conference of Young People in Alcoholics Anonymous was founded in 1958 for the purpose of providing a setting for an annual celebration of sobriety among young people in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's a weekend event that occurs once per year and consists of panels, workshops, and speaker meetings where recovering alcoholics can share their experience about getting and staying sober. Attendees of all ages come from across the globe to experience this truly remarkable gathering.
Hey, there you go.
This one's in San Francisco. If it were closer, I would go. September 3rd.
Yeah, you're still a young person.
You are
I'm
too.
like teetering. What's the? Do they have an age limit?
It just said no age limit.
What? The young person's conference is no age limit, so you're gonna get a bunch of creepy dudes being like, "Yeah, I'm an alcoholic. I'm
Probably.
13."
It's only $40. But yeah, it just said what? It's a weekend event that.
All right.
Speaking of it, where recovering alcoholics can share their experience. Attendees of all ages come from across the globe to experience this truly remarkable gathering.
that sounds great. So that's the answer. Yes, there's young people, and yes, there's conferences, and there's groups, and there's meetings for young people. And I think that's, I didn't have the best time at a young person's meeting, but that's just one person's experience at I went to 3 or 4 of those meetings. It's really important to have a support system if you're trying to get sober as a young person, because all that's around you in young people society is like fucking booze and drugs and shit.
Oh yeah, even until
General society,
until your entire life, it's everywhere.
They had to make a fucking sparkling water look like a beer to sell it.
Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
People love booze, and booze is it's poison, apparently.
It's literally poison.
But it does make you feel good for a little bit.
Yeah.
Man, do you ever some days you're like, oh, I'm so happy I'm not hungover today?
Yeah, I would sometimes get so passed out that I would miss my morning brunch shift or something like that, and scrounging about coming up with excuses. I'm more excited that I don't have to do that.
Yeah,
come up with lies and excuses.
The physical. That's why I think I said it maybe on the last podcast with you, where I think that part of me is actually physically allergic to alcohol, because the way I have been hungover is how is no one else getting hungover like this?
They are, and they're just concealing it, I guess.
I guess I'm not good at. Then I'm like, am I just a big pussy?
Well, I'm lucky where, yeah, pretty much.
Weak-willed.
Yeah, I never got the debilitating hangovers. To where my day wouldn't I would be able to power through and not feel great.
Every one of my last relapses has been debilitating hangovers.
All right,
and then I pour vodka on it, and that makes it worse.
Yeah, ultimately it does, but I did hair of the dog stuff, especially when I said I was working in the morning at a bar or a restaurant.
Yeah, there's got to be a better name for hair of the dog for me. It's
more of the booze.
Just put another dog on top of that dog.
Dog on the dog.
Yeah.
Siamese dog.
Yeah, because some people say hair of the dog is 1 or 2 drinks. No. Hair of the dog for me is drinking the entire next day. The entire next day is hair of the dog.
It's cleaning up a kennel.
Yeah. It's probably euthanizing a few of the dogs because the kennel's overfilled. And dogs, don't shop.
You ready to move on to the next
question?
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah. So I'm scrounged about how often do AA members have to attend meetings?
7 days a week or you're kicked out.
Yeah. It's for one particular subsect cult that we've kind of referred to, then that's true. But for regular AA, it's completely up to the person attending the meetings, how many meetings they want to attend.
And they have no jobs.
Yeah. Well, they do. They work for the plumbing company.
Oh yeah, the purple one.
Yeah, I don't want to get too specific.
Okay, yeah. It's the one with the van.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
It depends. Different sponsors can suggest how. We've talked about 90 and 90. That's always the standard suggestion to the newcomer of going to 90 meetings in 90 days. Yeah. The main reason for that is your brain's adjusting to not having alcohol.
Drew loves this science fact.
Yeah.
Drew's favorite science fact.
I've talked about it before.
I'm good. I do about 3 to 5 a week.
Yeah. That's usually the sweet spot is 3 to 5, 4 to 5. If you're really feeling it, you'd see some people double up on a meeting in a day. It's just
I've only ever done that once, I think.
I think I might, for how I'm feeling, kick it up a notch. Gotta Kick It Up. Really great Disney Channel original movie.
Oh, yeah?
About a Latina dance troupe. Si se puede. Just kidding.
I haven't seen it. I'm not familiar with the Dance It or Fill It Up. Dance It Up?
It's called Gotta Kick It Up.
Gotta Kick It
Up. It's a really early, late 90s, early 2000s Disney flick. It's really good.
Back when all the people in charge of Disney and Nickelodeon were not being nice to kids.
I think Nickelodeon specifically.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I gotta kick it up and do a little more meetings. But
maybe
yeah,
tonight.
3 to 5 range is like the normal.
Yeah.
What we see, depending on your schedule and everything like that. But there's no requirements. Do AAs have to attend meetings for the rest of their lives?
No one has to do anything.
No one has
to do anything.
We've
said this before. You don't. Some people get sober and they stay sober for a long time, and then they're miserable and they come back. And you can go out, come back, and you can make it as awful as you want.
Yeah, you can make it as miserable as you wanted to make it. But if you go to enough meetings, you'll soon realize, okay, I have this thing that I have to treat with not just myself, with these meetings and with, a collection of other people in a higher power. And the easiest way to do that is to go to meetings consistently.
Yeah. A lot of people like to say meeting makers make it.
Yeah.
Which some people don't agree with that. Some people are like, the meetings are not the program, which I agree with. Meetings do help.
Yeah.
I'm in both camps. I'm split into two different people.
Yeah, I mean, meetings help you get back in the swing of service.
Yeah,
is what I'm in a. It gets me outside of my own head.
Yeah.
If I'm away from meetings long enough, like I kind of have been, then my shit gets kind of isolating,
crusty.
Dark, and a little crusty, and I'm not thinking about anybody else but myself.
Yeah.
And that's just the natural progression of my illness or disease of alcoholism.
I like when I'm in a meeting and there's a point in, it's not every meeting, but sometimes where I'm especially feeling high strung or, I put a lot of gasoline in the tank and I've been burning it at both ends.
Ooh.
And I'll be in a meeting, I'm like, and I'll feel like my shoulders lower. I'm like, oh my God, that's, what the heck?
Yeah. Especially at a really good meeting. It's like a nice little reprieve or.
Meeting last night was very great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to the Decatur one?
Ponce.
Nice.
Yeah. It was good. People said some good stuff. I have to pee. Entertain the folks.
All right. Well, I went to the Braves game last night. I'm still wearing the shirt. The Yankees. And the Yankees, you guys, are playing like shit. And it's very rare that they're playing this badly. Really rare. They are at 500 right now. That's a record of 60-60, and they have not been at 500 for this late in the season since 1995, showing you the true kind of like success and prowess of a big market team like the Yankees. The Braves, however, are having their season right now is pretty incredible. It's the best lineup or offensive team I've ever experienced as a Braves fan, and they're a blue ribbon franchise as well. But it's just been really incredible the amount of hitting and offense that this team has done. They just need a little bit of consistent, a little above average pitching, and they'll win the shit. I promise you that. But baseball is baseball, and you can have an amazing season and win 116 games like the Seattle Mariners did in 2001 and get ousted in the ALCS like they did in 2001. By who? The Yankees. And we have now had that full, beautiful baseball circle at the end. Taylor's out of the bathroom. And I don't know what he's grabbing from the fridge, but we'll find out soon. But for all that being said, go Braves. Hope you can find some pitching. It was a nice game. They crushed the Mets 5-0. Oh, you got a pickle.
You want pickle?
No, I'm not. I'm weird about. Oh shit! Drop the other liquid death. Not a pickle guy. I like new pickles, like barely pickled cucumbers that are still crisp. Yeah, like you get at the Ted's Montana Grill.
Have you been to Ponco yet in Atlanta?
Yeah.
You like it?
It's fine. I like the fried chicken dishes and everything like that, but I tried to get like a healthy dish for like this teriyaki chicken.
They don't have that.
And I was like blasted with salt.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got there. I met with my sponsor there yesterday. We did some step work. No big deal.
Big deal. Doing a little step work.
4-step in the 12 and 12.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. Hitting the 4-step.
I left it in my truck when I dropped to the dealership. So I hope they see it's like, oh, this guy's sober.
This guy's nuts.
Oh yeah, but it was good. It's just like but they put little like barely pickled pickles on top.
That's nice.
They seem like still a little bit
I
cucumbery.
think they have chicken tacos. I get that sometimes.
Those are good.
Yeah, those are pretty tasty. All right. Well, back to the questions we answered.
Did the audience behave while I was gone?
I think so. I bored them with baseball, like incredibly boring.
Just wait till college football season, guys.
Oh yeah.
We didn't do that podcast yet during college football season.
Oh
so
boy.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
They do have the rankings out. What was it? Georgia number 1?
Yeah, Georgia's
Michigan
gonna
2?
Georgia's gonna three-peat. No big deal.
Ohio
It's all
State
good.
3?
Yeah.
Okay. No, they're not. I can't.
Well,
Yeah.
we're gonna go on a whole
Yeah.
tangent if we start talking about college football. Bore you all to tears already with baseball. How will I be able to find the time for AA meetings with work with other alcoholics and
Yeah.
other AA activities?
Here's what I have learned. Fitting anything into my schedule, at first it's like, oh, how am I going to fit it in? But once I start fitting
Yeah.
it in and it becomes part of my routine,
There you go.
then it's part of the routine.
There you
And
go.
then if I get rid of it, then the routine's messed up. And then I
Yeah.
have too much time on my hands. And idle time is the devil's play toys.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked about how much we like the devil, but in that situation,
Toys are cool.
devil's not great in that situation.
No. He's got a van with flames on the side.
That's a different devil.
that's the bad. That's the
That's
bad
the
devil.
bad devil. There's like a good.
There's Satan, which is good, and then there's the devil, which is
yeah,
bad.
yeah. He's just trying to mess up your thing.
Yeah.
Devil's my alcoholism, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it is hard at first. It feels like it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's depending on, how much you want to stay sober. It's just how much you struggled out there.
Yeah.
Struggling in your active alcoholism.
Yeah.
That a lot of the times determines how much work you're willing to do.
Yeah.
It opens up your willingness. And then once you start doing it, and like you said, it's in your routine, it's like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I consistently go to this pretty much for every week if I can, but it's part of my routine. A meeting on Monday and Tuesdays. Those are definitely the ones I go to.
There you go.
And then the
There's
ones
certain
I s-
non-negotiables. Like
Yeah.
I talk about.
the ones I switch up are kind of like Saturday. I've been to one recently. Sunday, Friday.
Yeah.
Friday is usually a consistent one, but it just changes.
Yeah.
Wednesday and Thursday are very up in the air.
I would say have 2 non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And
3
then
negotiables.
And 3 negotiables. And negotiate the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Negotiate, bro.
Yeah. I negotiate.
Sweet negotiate.
Yeah.
That's what finance bros say.
Those guys do cocaine.
So you figure it out. And it depends on how badly you want to stay sober for the rest of your life.
yeah.
And for me, that's pretty bad because I've proven that I can't really live much of a life when I don't stay sober.
I can't either. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Every time I've gone back out, I've
Yeah.
had like a secret little in my mind. It's like, ooh, I'm gonna keep this a secret. I'm gonna be able to drink and go drink, have airplane shooters and go do comedy and not smoke crack at all. And I'm just gonna be able to have a little treat. No one's gonna know about it.
Yeah.
And that never happens. Plan gets ruined immediately.
I start, like, the last time I went, I was like, I'll just hide the bottles in the worst hiding places of all time
Yeah.
while drunk. So it just, it gets dumber and dumber.
Yeah, Drew told me he would dress up the bottles like a person in his bed and put a blanket over him.
Yeah, that's just the baby we had, remember?
It's the baby. And then, but then who's the guy out in the kitchen? That's our friend.
That's Jeff. He's scaring the crows away. So, yeah. It was a lot of money that I spent at Michael's.
Wait a minute. Oh, Drew, your bottles too. Falls down. clank, 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 clank.
That's the very end of my alcoholism. I just become a bottle of beer. So yeah, well, like I said, it gets dumber and dumber if I go back out.
Yeah.
It gets dumber
It
quicker.
is pretty dumb.
When we talk about like
Yeah.
it's a progressive disease. It's a dumb disease, and it gets dumber quicker.
Yeah, for me, it gets dumb
And I
immediately.
just waste way too much money at Michael's Arts and
time.
Crafts to dress these bottles up like people.
Yeah. The money, honestly, the money isn't going towards the booze. It's going towards the Michael's Arts and Crafts.
Yeah, it's just it's thousands of dollars a month, and she's asking me what's this credit card for, and I said for emergencies, and she's like, "What emergencies have you had?" And I was like,
It's
"Plenty."
maxed out.
So yeah,
Plenty, right, Jeff? No, Jeff. Wait,
The
don't touch it.
string's not working.
He's a marionette. He's a full-size marionette. Your hand has to be way up here for.
Man, we sure did make light of a relapse.
Yeah.
But for sure, it gets even though that's all in jest, it gets chaotic as
Some
fuck.
might say dicey.
Snake eyes.
Oh no, not snake eyes. Snake eyes means and then the dice fall apart and they're just little tiny bottles.
Yeah,
You throw it, everything's tiny bottles.
It's Midas, but with bottles.
Yeah.
All right, so what's the
Everything
question?
you touch.
You find your own
I don't
schedule.
remember. Yeah. Make it part of your routine.
Can newcomers join AA outside their own community?
What does that even mean?
What does that
That's
mean?
an awful question.
This question sometimes raised by a person who... Now I'm reading
How
this.
frequently are some of these questions being
This is
asked?
not a frequent question. This question is sometimes raised by persons who seem to have perfectly valid reasons for not wanting to risk identification as alcoholics by any of their neighbors.
Oh.
Wait.
Huh?
Oh, just go to... Yeah. If you're like worried about seeing someone you know. I've talked to somebody that lives in Candler Park.
Yeah.
And he's like, I haven't gone to many Candler Park meetings because
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody I know. This
Like
is like a
walking
newcomer.
around?
At a meeting.
But don't you, I would love to. I want everyone I know to be an alcoholic. And I see them at meetings.
That's fair for a newcomer to be like, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
I don't want any. So yeah, there's
Yeah.
especially if you live in a city, like there's a lot of a website apps in general.
What if you got pulled over? You got a DUI. And you're feeling real down and out, but then you go to a meeting and you see the police officer who arrested you, and then he waives the DUI. You're like, "Oh, you were sick the whole time. I'm so sorry."
I feel like that's
And the officer's been he's been a sober alcoholic for many, many years.
And then you're like, and he goes to shake your hand, and you shake it, and
Oh,
he turns
no.
into a bottle.
Oh no!
No.
And then we wake up from this awful dream where everything's a bottle.
And then you're like, I gotta get to
And
a
then
meeting.
you turn to your left, and your fiance is a bottle.
Yeah, that's what happens. That's the end game.
Yeah,
If
that's
you go
Twilight
back
Zone.
out.
That's
Yeah.
Twilight Zone.
It's like when they didn't have any ideas. Twilight Zone.
Yeah, get in the
Oh,
zone.
he fucking turns
Twilight
into a
Zone.
bottle again.
Yeah, turn him into a bottle.
Rod Serling's out smoking. He doesn't want any. He wasn't any part of this.
I almost smoked a cigarette last night, but then I didn't.
Nice. I love that story.
Well, yeah, I'm not vaping still, which is great. But
That's
I keep,
awesome.
I keep stealing vapes off people, little hits.
Oh, okay. Well, it's still progress.
Yeah, it's better than smoking something else I've smoked in the past.
That's for sure. Okay, so yeah, there's meetings everywhere. If you're in a rural area, rural. If you're in a farm-like area,
yeah.
and out in the country, it's a little more
You
difficult.
can't say rural anymore. People get mad.
Really?
No,
Oh, I
I'm
believe
just
you
poking fun at the things people say you can't say anymore.
get canceled for saying rural.
Yeah,
The
Oh.
farmer's gonna get discriminated.
yeah,
That's only we can say that.
yeah.
There's Zoom meetings. People are like, I don't like Zoom meetings. If you're
There's-
like engaged in a Zoom meeting, it's
There's
a meeting.
zoo meetings.
Yeah, where the last time the rhinoceros was the chairperson, and he would not. He read how it works so slowly.
Yeah.
I was like, get on with it, rhinoceros.
And the tree squirrels were really kind of distracting because they're kind of twitchy.
A tree squirrel at a zoo?
Yeah. Well, the tree squirrels are just kind of like hanging out.
Oh
everywhere.
yeah.
It's like, when you see a bird, like a finch at the zoo, you're like, what are you doing here?
The flying squirrels are in cage,
Yeah.
and the tree squirrels are like, damn shame.
Yeah.
Can't do anything about
Do
it.
you think the animals that come to the zoo just to like visit, like just the normal vermin and stuff, do you think that they're like, what is this place? Like, we got to do something about this.
We're too small. We're vermin. Normal.
But if we dressed up as a person, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's hit a couple more, and then we'll call it
That's
call it
right.
a quits. I'm gonna try to find a really
Call
good
it
one.
clits.
Oh,
Oh, God, clits.
that's the
I don't know what that is,
That's
but-
the OnlyFans version of our
Yeah,
podcast.
we're calling it clits.
That's bad. My bad.
I brought it up. It's not that bad.
If I come to AA, won't I miss a lot of friends and a lot of fun?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, if you consider getting fucked up still fun, then it's
Yeah.
probably not going to work for you.
Go ahead, get sober, and then go hang out with those people at a bar.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, your drinking buddies are just that. They're not real buddies. They
Yeah.
have to have the drinking in
Yeah.
the first place.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, like I said, I was pretty much all alone when I came into
Yeah.
AA. I got friends
Yeah.
and fun through the process.
I tried. Listen, the last time I went out, I did a show, and then that night I went out with some friends who knew I'm sober, but I was relapsing, so I drank. I had like 2 drinks. Well, I don't know. I had 3 or 4 or 5 drinks. I don't know. I had more than everyone else.
Yeah,
And then I went to the bad part of Edgewood and bought crack over there. And it's like I can't even if it's not bad at when it's happening, I still go and do the bad stuff I want to do.
Yeah.
Which is not good stuff. I don't know what the point of that was, but
Well, you have an idea of like, oh, I'll go back out and it'll be a jolly time with friends and drinking buddies, and you end up the same place you always end up.
I don't even want that. I don't even want that ultimately, because once I get there, I'm like, what's the?
When I relapsed, it was always about escaping.
Yeah.
Just escaping.
Yeah.
And I can that would be lying to myself and being like, no, I get to be part of society again.
Yeah.
The drinking society, I mean.
Escaping.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes things are encased and stuff?
What?
Yeah. What about if something's encraped and stuff? It's a cocoon of crepe.
It's too French for me. I can't deal with it.
It's how a French person becomes an adult.
That's a French mummy right there.
That's a French mommy.
One more. I'm trying to find a good one.
Can you still be the president if you're an alcoholic?
There's a lot of these are like, will it help me out financially? Will it help me straighten out my family troubles?
I mean, yeah, that stuff all comes.
This is all dependent upon what that, like, the specifics vary to the person.
Yeah.
But ultimately, shit's going to get straightened out if you stay in here and you work a program.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been my experience.
Yeah.
You get to become usefully whole at times, not all the time, but more times than not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find a good one.
Looking for a good one.
Looking for a good question to end the podcast.
And then we're gonna go about our days. And it's gonna be good. I'm golfing at 4 p.m. It's gonna be.
That sounds like fun.
My golf bag down. I'm so resentful at Amazon right now. Amazon,
It's
give me
a
my
new way of
package.
life.
You know you're holding the package on purpose. I want it.
Oh
so
shit! I
bad.
kind of blasted through them.
I'm gonna get it.
We pretty much covered all like the interesting stuff.
Did we do all the FAQs?
Does AA sponsor any social activity for members?
NASCAR? The AA car?
Yeah. AA has a NASCAR car.
Yeah.
And it's driven by a drunk person. They're like, see, that's why you need it.
Yeah, they have to be drunk. They just crash.
And they just crash into everybody as like a message.
But really cool logo, because NASCAR, they just put 2 A's after the N.
And then
so
the
they
A's just have to...
Yeah.
No, I mean, these are... there's fellowship after the meetings, and that's usually going out to eat. I used to always, and it's still hard for me just because of how my fucking brain works to like get engaged in fellowship and everything like that. But it's really important. It's how you grow. It's how you meet new people, and you don't always talk about AA outside of AA. It's rare. The guy who just talks about AA is like, who's this guy?
There are some people that do that, and I'm like, come on.
But it's another aspect of this program.
Yeah.
Just going through the book like we've been, and we'll get back to with a sponsor, is one aspect. Going to a meeting is another aspect. Getting to know people is another aspect.
Doing a podcast is another aspect.
There you go. Everyone has to do a podcast.
That's the ultimate promise coming true. You get your own podcast.
All right. Well, those are the pretty much went through all of the frequently asked questions.
Wow. And only 2 episodes too?
Yeah.
I bet the 164 is feeling left out.
Some are like, what's the grapevine? Like what's grapevine's just like a small little,
it's a magazine.
monthly magazine.
Yeah.
And then like, what's the textbook? You already know about the big book, all that stuff. But I like going through those.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Next week we get to do the Icky Paw FAQs.
Yeah. I think we'll get back to reading. We'll have to go back a couple episodes to see where we left off.
Yeah. Wow. We had a guest. We had an episode. We're somewhere. Oh.
We still have a goal of getting to that 164.
We have people that want to come on the podcast, which is so popular amongst the AAs in Atlanta.
I mean, thanks to all 40 people listening. Really appreciate it.
You guys mean so much.
Yeah. Well, we hope some of this helped. We stayed pretty much within the guidelines of their answers. We just gave more interesting answers
Yeah.
with all the tangents.
Yeah. So, but once again, remember, these are just our opinions and expressions.
And if you touch something and it becomes a bottle, you're either in a dream or at the end stage of your alcoholism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's when you really get help. Call your sponsor before that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much once again, coming from the bottom of our hearts to
And
yours.
the top of our
Yeah.
domes.
Sometimes our brains are the tops, our hearts are the bottoms. Once again, I'm Taylor.
Penis of the guts.
Yeah, that's really what the heart is the penis of the guts.
Okay.
Mwah.
Mwah. Bye, guys.